I'm keeping that in there, Liz. It's not going anywhere.
Which Dumbo?
Yeah. Welcome, folks, to the 51st episode of the Sounds Like Liberty podcast here on the Launchpad Media, always launching ideas in your direction. I am your host, Nicky P, here as always with my lovely wife and co-host, Lizzie. How are we doing, Lizzie?
We're doing all right. It's Monday. It's so Monday.
It is Monday. Is that supposed to mean something different, though?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna do something here. We're gonna actually talk about a song Lizzie wants to talk about today.
Is that how? Okay.
We're starting out today with a song you wanted to talk about. Would you like me to start with the lyrics, though?
Sure, fine. Let's do that.
Since you're the one who came up with it.
All right.
I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Should I blast myself? I'm tired of being poor, and even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch.
I see. So you already got ahead of me here, and you went for the song that sampled the song I suggested.
I mean, I thought the joke was rife there.
Yeah, no, that's a solid joke. I'll allow
Okay.
it. The song that we're actually analyzing today
Is Not Changes by Tupac Shakur.
Is Not Changes by Tupac Shakur, but the song that you sampled for that.
Do you think that it would be a different reading? You think we would change the rating on it?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, maybe we could put a pin in that and come back to it eventually.
We'll see.
No, I was talking about The Way It Is by Bruce Hornsby and The Range, which is about the Civil Rights era.
It says it's got Ricky Skaggs on it.
Some overlap there, but really?
According to this thing, I don't know.
That's interesting.
Weird. Standing in line, marking time, waiting for the welfare dime, 'cause I can't buy a job. The man in the silk suit hurries by. As he catches the poor lady's eyes, just for fun he says, get a job. That's just the way it is. Some things will never change. That's just the way it is. But don't you believe them? Said, hey, little boy, you can't go where the others go, 'cause you don't look like they do. Said, hey, old man, how can you stand to think that way? Did you really think about it before you made the rules? He said, son, that's just the way it is. Some things will never change. That's just the way it is. But don't you believe him? A bunch of that's just the way it is there, too.
Yep.
It says it a lot.
It does.
Well, they passed a law in 64 to give those who ain't got a little more, but it only goes so far because the law don't change another's mind when all it sees at the hiring time is the line of the color bar. No, no, no. That's just the way it is.
So, okay, this song came out in 86, talking about the 60s.
Okay. You sound like you've got some feelings about this.
Well, I do, because I feel like I was born in 85. And, okay, so I wasn't aware of how things were in 86. But when I was coming up in, let's say 96, it wasn't, that wasn't still the way it is. You know.
No?
No.
You don't think that everything that's ever happened in your life is a product of race?
I don't.
And the way people feel about your race?
I understand.
I married you because you had to sweep black lady's ass. I mean, so race affects everything, Liz. Don't you know?
I mean, on a level, that's true. But I'm sure there are white chicks with asses in the world.
I mean, folks, if you've seen one, please, let's send them our way. We'll rate them. Because I don't believe
We're not going to do that.
I don't believe they exist.
I could name
All right, well, she doesn't have to be part of it.
Anyways.
Just DM me fat white girl asses, and we'll make that a thing.
Oh, good gosh. Okay. Anyways. But yeah, and I feel like they're conflating. On some levels, they're conflating welfare and the civil rights movement.
Well, there's actually a few things in here that I do enjoy. Mostly because they're so fucking insane and batshit crazy. In particular, let's go back to verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
The man in the silk suit hurries by. As he catches the poor lady's eyes, just for fun, he says, "Get a job." Because that is literally how these fucking people view the world. They think that people go out of their way to be malicious to the poor. Like, I can't think of a single person I can imagine doing that.
Well, neither can I, but I mean, I don't know why. It's a weird setup anyway.
Well, no, everything about this is contrived as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing about this that sounds realistic. I mean, in the 80s, sitting there saying you can't stand in line because of the way you look doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean,
What's more likely is you're standing in a line because you grew up in a poor neighborhood and just happen to be around other people. That might happen,
yeah.
which is an economic issue. Which, don't get me wrong, you know how I am about the economics in this. Like, so much of it fucking relates to the policy that fucking holds these people down.
Yeah.
And it incentivizes them not getting ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and
Never
there's
mind the drug war.
yeah, and I think that there is a little bit of that in the line. They can't buy a job, in that there are trade-offs.
It cannot be ignored enough by these people that the biggest factor in whether or not people are successful in life or not is a father in the home.
It is a big factor, and it isn't
Like,
a thing that you like to talk about because that comes back to people's choices.
I think it's an 86% correlation.
Yeah, it comes
something ridiculous.
To a lot of things.
For the record, I think that actually has more to do with two-parent homes and the way that the distribution of labor works within a family structure. Because I don't really think if you have two lesbian parents or two gay parents, it makes a difference. I think it's literally just having the two-parent home.
Literally just you need to have like two people who can trade off responsibilities kind of thing.
I listened to a guy, Pradeep Song, who does the male entrepreneur podcast.
Okay.
And he talks a lot about feminine and masculine energies. And I think he would agree with me. It's like, it doesn't really matter where those energies come from, but you need to have both of those energies present in your life to become a fully functioning person.
Well, I mean, if there is that idea of balance of yin and yang, then yeah,
it's got to make sure you got a butch one. Is that what that means?
I guess.
Whatever. Takes all kinds. Whatever.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so they passed the law in 64 to give them who they ain't got a little more.
Now, which law are they making reference to there?
64, I believe, is the actual Civil Rights Act.
Okay.
Like that's the act. That's the big one.
Right.
Saying you're not allowed to discriminate.
Okay.
But the law don't change another's mind. And that I actually think is a very, very valid point why I personally think the laws are fucking useless.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, the laws are always downstream of culture, and you're not going to change the culture
by
laws.
Yeah, by making
it's just gonna It's going to change by dudes like me banging out hot black chicks and making little brown people.
Okay. I mean, one could argue that does affect things, but I think just having relationships in general with people, just having relationships in general with people of different cultures, it is probably going to do more to change people's minds than making it illegal to
I mean, then because ultimately you just start hiding the racism and then it festers. Yeah. You know me, let the cockroaches out.
Yeah,
can't step on them if they're not there. You can see.
And I certainly, like I always say, I don't want to be giving you my money if I know you're going to be using it to support your stupid crap beliefs.
So, are you sure?
I'd rather know what your beliefs are.
You mean I should be forced to pay racists money to hate my daughter?
Yeah, no, I don't think you should.
Yeah. I don't think it should either. Yeah, ultimately, I've always thought this song sucked balls.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it brings up
continue to think it sucks balls.
some ideas. It doesn't bring up a lot of useful information at all.
What it does bring up is how fucking dumb and lunatic the left actually is. And apparently has always been focusing so much on how everything makes you feel.
Yeah, and I think that's the real key. It's about the feeling. And I think, frankly, the lyrics are designed to evoke the feelings more than really paint a realistic picture of anything or, show any sort of nuance at all. I don't think nuance fits into it.
You know what kind of nuance the song deserves? The song deserves me singing some
D'Angelo, is that what that was?
D'Angelo over top of it, just ignoring that it's happening.
Okay, fair enough.
That's how this is all going to work out.
Yeah.
What do you want to give it?
I mean, I guess we could give it a Lubeg. I don't really feel like it's...
I'm not giving it Lubeg. This is commie trash.
Commie trash? Okay, fine.
You can call it whatever you want to call it. You can go Lubega. You go Lubega. It does ask some good questions and then feeds you all of the worst answers possible.
Okay.
So there's that.
All right, fair enough.
Well, I guess that's our analysis portion for today.
Welcome to I Heard This Happen, the segment for aging hipsters. Each week we scour Bandcamp for underground new releases to wow your teenage children. So without further ado, here's new music.
So what do you have this week and I Heard This Happen, Lizzie?
All right, I have some folk music.
Folk. You really like to say that L in the word folk.
That's the folk is the
it's folk music. Silent L.
Like folk down in the... Okay, that's fine.
Like po folks.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I really like to call it folk because it makes sense to me.
Because it makes it easier to say an L in a word for some reason that you want to have there. Whatever.
Folk music. It's folk music. Is that better? Anyways, from New Zealand.
Folks coming around.
It's a band called Deepwater Creek, and they're kind of active right now. It's an EP. It's really bluesy. I honestly thought of it as like a blues record, kind of that Delta blues sound, but it is very low key, like kind of a downbeat style that they have going on. So I can see how it would be folk as opposed to blues, which has the 16 bar structure or whatever it is.
Is that what makes it blues? Is it
No.
the blues scale with the blue note?
Well, I mean, there's that, and then I'm sure there's a certain argument for the spirit of the blues, and I guess it has that. It's sort of sad bastard music. I'm gonna be honest.
It's the only kind she likes.
But yeah, let's face it. I like that kind of music. Either really, really upbeat or really, really downbeat. That's basically, there's no in between for me. But yeah, it was really enjoyable, and I don't know, they take you to a couple different places with 4 tracks, which I think is pretty cool. And frankly, I thought it reminded me of like Will Cole and kind of southern bluesy stuff, and it was interesting to me that was coming from New Zealand.
Yeah, and you didn't send me a link to listen to it, to
We
comment
listened-
on you're calling it Wilco.
Well, it reminded me of that.
You know?
But I mean, you could argue that lots of things reminded me of that. So.
I would argue lots of things remind you of Wilco. Without
Okay.
question, that's a thing that happens.
Well, what do you got? Because I'm excited about what you got too.
Okay. Well, technically, I've got 2 things this week.
Oh, snap.
My actual official thing is Too Old to Die Young by Bracket.
Okay.
They're, let's say, an old school Fat Records band out of Forestville, California.
Yeah.
The album came out on the 31st of May, 2019.
Nice.
It's 11 tracks of, we'll say pop punk.
Yeah. No, I mean... Yeah.
Pop punk is a very, very wide term with lots and lots of meanings depending on what generation you're talking to. But the album reminds me of Bracket because only Bracket sounds like Bracket.
They do have their very own sound there.
Like, it's kind of like the wonders from That Thing You Do if they just used harder distortions and more harmonies.
Yeah. Basically.
My favorite songs in the record are A Perfect Misfit
Okay.
and Going Out of Style in Style.
I really like their song titles. They're all pretty amusing, and that is one thing that I love about that genre in general.
There's something. I've always liked Bracket. Like, I think from the first time I heard them on the Fat Music for Fat People compilation way back in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was something I enjoyed. So here they are, and doing exactly what we want and expect from Bracket. Mm-hmm. Super tight block harmonies and pop structures. That's it. That's why you listen to them. Mm-hmm. You don't want them to change. Like, I don't want this band to grow and evolve. I just want them to keep putting out the same album
Just
that I
do
like over
what
and
you
over
do.
again. Yeah, really. Can I consider feeling over the hill myself as a reason to love an album?
I think that's okay.
Especially since it's called Too Old to Die Young. Seriously, this came out the day after my 35th birthday. So, I think I am officially too old to die young.
Oh, well, there you go.
I love these guys in general because for a band that it's all about the vocals, I don't care at all what the lyrics are. Which I think is for the best because I'm pretty sure they're all lefty as fudge.
I mean, they're from California, so there's a lot of likelihood of that.
Just give me more harmonies, guys. That's all I care about.
Right?
Just tight.
We won't
block
ask too
harmonies.
many questions.
So, I mean, that's my official
Okay, so what
from
else do
from
you,
the Bandcamp.
What else do you got?
Well, we had friend of the show, Dan Smotz,
Oh my gosh, you're right.
release something this week.
And it is, I really enjoyed it. I'm just going to say that.
If you like modern 4 Year Strong kind of pop punk, then this
Yeah.
is definitely something you'd be interested in. It is
It's
the end of the week.
just, mwah.
The
Chef kiss.
group is SH exclamation point. But if you look it up on, you can actually go to the Sounds Like Liberty soundtrack that's linked in the show notes.
Okay.
Or you can look up Smotz on Spotify and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But some of these song titles, you're talking about song titles.
Yeah.
Butchers Be Trippin', Old People Music. Like, Butchers Be Tripping is just maybe the funniest song title I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, that is really legit.
Which I think is so funny because if you actually look at Dan, he kind of comes across as having like a super dour personality, and I think it belies how funny and silly a guy he totally can be. Mm-hmm. I like it. I always love that juxtaposition. So you get a bit of a threefer here, you know.
Yeah.
3 for the price of 2 on the old. I heard this happen this week. What else do we got going on, Liz? We got any news to add to things?
Porkfest is like almost 2 weeks away. It's crazy, y'all. It's coming up so quickly.
It is going to be so much fun, and
Yes.
so it's officially I have the official dates. Friday we'll be doing I'll be on a panel with Roger Paxton, Jay Catano, Mark Clare, and our good friend Dan Smotz, talking about podcasting and community building.
Yep.
That'll be I think it's at 10 o'clock on Friday, 10:30 maybe, something like that. Ought to be a lot of fun. Also on Wednesday, if you're there early, literally we're going to be getting out of the car. I'm probably going to tell you to go set up the tent.
Right.
We
and
may- in
then
fact, we may-
you're going to go play a show.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a performance for the Songs of Freedom
Yeah.
at
So,
noon on Wednesday.
Some of that hot fire we've been talking about in the 365 Freedom Song.
Yeah, Freedom Song 365. Go sign up. It sends money, which will help me get to Porkfest. It'll let me send some money to Sherry and Luke with Sherry Voluntary Show and Culture of Peace, respectively.
Yeah. And they're putting a lot of work into it. But yeah, some of that hot fire will be on stage.
Literally, we've written over Fahrenheit 451 worth of content for this thing.
There you go.
Let's see, what else do we got going on? I feel like it's been so busy. I've got 2 new podcasts that I'm working on.
Yeah.
We've got Free Market's Green Earth with Ben Pangy.
If you care about the earth and you have a vague idea that
Last week's was amazing.
legislating stuff isn't the answer, then this will be a good one
Liz,
for you to have in your pocket there.
People are dying on Mount Everest because of a line.
What? Okay, I have to listen to this show apparently because that just sounds crazy.
There are literally photos of lines to the top of Mount Everest. And the first thing that I ask myself is, if there's lines, like, how hard is it really to get to the top of Mount Everest? Like, it doesn't feel special anymore. I always imagined that it was just like one lone man and 3 indigenous people trekking to the top of a hill that no one's seen, and there's only ever been like 10 people that do it. Apparently thousands do it every year. Like, there's so many so that there's literally a fucking line.
I mean, I think it's that thing where it becomes a trope, and then the trope becomes a trope.
Oh, no, the trope was this. People died in line waiting to get to the top of the fucking mountain.
It's ridiculous.
So that was last week's episode. I don't even remember what we talked about this week, but I imagine it was amusing and it's just basically me yelling about the environment a lot.
I mean, someone should yell about the environment because what we're doing to it on the whole is janky, but...
What we're doing on the whole is listening to fucking leftists who couldn't fix anything.
Right. Not helping.
Well, there's also This Week in Liberpods.
Yes.
Which I've been doing kind of every other week, maybe now, maybe this every week. The idea is to introduce people to new libertarian podcasts. It's never more than a half hour long, and it's a lot of fun. You get to listen to new stuff.
It's like a little dim sum of a podcast. So you can
it is exactly. It is a podcast dim sum. So, who do we got this week for an interview?
We are talking to Berg of
the Friends Against Government podcast.
Friends Against Government podcast.
This is one we've been sitting on for a while, and I feel a little bad for sitting on it because it was so much fun.
It is gold. It was a fun interview, but you know, we wanted to put it out there. So you guys could enjoy it. Oh,
one last thing. So we've been talking a lot about kind of the format of the show, and I would love to hear what people have to say out there. I know we focus a lot on the music side of things, and, you know, I like talking about music. But it is kind of limiting in certain ways, and that repeat guests are a little difficult to do because, you know, we're just asking them about, you know, the set questions that we would ask. Mm-hmm. So we're curious about what your thoughts are on us, kind of taking it with a little bit more general approach moving forward, so I can invite some of our fun guests that we've had on in the past. Which brings us to, hey, is there any guests that you'd love to hear back on?
Yeah, what do you like? What don't you like? What would you like more of? Because, we're totally interested
to make this better. I want to build the community. I want to have a lot more people that are interested in this. And then maybe we'll turn them on to some kick-ass music while they're hanging out.
Yeah.
Well, I guess without further ado, we'll get to our interview with the Bird Archist of the Friends Against Government podcast and did we talk about the Grateful Dead with him, I imagine?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We talk about the Grateful Dead with a lot of our guests.
We do.
There's a lot of Deadhead libertarians, apparently.
What are you going to do?
Well, I know what I'm going to do, which is give a lot of side eye, maybe a little side boob. So, anyways, folks, let's get into it.
I wonder if this works.
I heard you, so that part worked.
Yeah, I can't hear you if you're talking. Yeah, the only problem is I am not set up for this yet.
No, you're doing good, man.
Let me see.
I'm just watching videos on Captain Marvel.
I feel like it's quieter than I expected it to be, but I can hear it.
No, I don't hear a ringtone. No.
You figured that this one that's turned down is quiet?
That works.
Oh, okay.
Check. Friends Against Government.
Check.
Dun, 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 dun.
Check 1 2. Check. All right, good. Wow, dude, it just set up my audio for me. What a fucking app.
Dude, Zoom's the shit, and the quality is pretty top notch.
That's awesome.
Google was always just so clunky.
Yeah,
man. Google was the distress default. The one day we had to use it because we didn't really plan how we were going to talk to one another. So we just were like, I guess we both have Gmails, and then we just stuck with it.
Honestly, Zoom is fantastic. It'll also record, if you set it to, you can record the audio and video natively within the app.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And they'll send you a link to it on the cloud. The only other one that gets really, really good audio, but it's kind of a pain in the dick to deal with, is Discord.
Yeah, I've had my trials with Discord.
Like, it sounds great, but it's kind of a bitch, and nobody has it, so...
Yeah.
And it'll fuck up your audio, too, sometimes.
Will
I've
it?
gotten, glitching on it, man. Shit sucks. I like this. I'm going to have to look into this.
I haven't.
I didn't like that the website was like, just download this. That, that's like a threat to me.
Right.
But,
Oh, I like that I could just drop a
sounds
link to it to anyone and say, here you go.
I gotcha.
So, honestly...
I need a cool name, yo. You got Nicky P. We got Lizzie. I need a cool name.
You're Bird, man.
That's not cool. It's just I was born with that
You
name.
could be Laser.
Oh, Laser Bird. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That'll work.
Call me Laser Eagle for the rest of this.
Laser Eagle. All right.
Okay, now is it Laser with an S or a Z?
2 Z's, dude.
2 Z's. Wait, isn't that Lazar then?
don't overthink it.
Lazar Eagle.
Lazar Eagle.
Wait, did you just become black all of a sudden? You've got a blackbird over here, honey.
Oh, good lord.
Ah, shit. Oh, I thought there was going to be music playing, so you do this in post?
Yeah, that happens in post.
I have a lot of...
man.
I spent a lot of time on this.
I gotta jam out to some tunes here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, whatever makes it work for you, man. Maybe we should start doing that. Maybe that would give us more energy in the mornings.
It would make things way easier on one front and then not at all
way
on
harder
another.
on the other front. Yeah.
You could set up like a Spotify playlist and be like, hey, if you want to listen to some tunes along with us.
Oh, there you go. It's a listen along.
I mean,
Yeah.
there actually is the Spotify playlist that is what I hit shuffle on to record the music for the episode.
Oh shit! So see,
There is a Sounds Like Liberty Spotify playlist.
Oh, hey, if I make a playlist, will you do it custom for me? Or you have to stick to certain songs?
Because of our affiliation with the Launchpad Media, I have to...
Sure.
We got to keep it legit.
I have to not use copyrighted music.
Damn, I hate legit shit.
I know.
No, dude,
Doesn't it bother you?
all of my original listeners were very disappointed to hear all of the fine music that I chose go away.
Damn, you know what? You got to make paper though.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and in essence, all of the bands that are on the Sounds Like Liberty playlist are either me or people that I know directly. So there's that.
Oh, that's fucking cool though.
What's
Actually,
Honestly, most of them are actual libertarian musicians that I just...
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, see, that's how you turn that shit around, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you turn that shit around. Oh,
Anyways,
man.
so welcome to the Sounds Like Liberty podcast here, Mr. Laser Eagle.
Thank you, sir. Gwah! That's what I do
Nice.
when I'm introduced from now on.
He's a superhero, apparently.
I love it.
Wait, we got to get with Jack Lloyd over at Voluntarist, and Laser Eagle has to be a new character in the
We'll put him in
Oh,
the...
in the mythos.
Yeah.
Put that in. Let him all know.
That's awesome.
Oh boy! So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey to liberty to get the people who may not know you, which I can't imagine is anybody at this point the way you guys are.
Oh my God, you're too kind. That's too kind of you. Hi everybody, my name is Berg. I haven't done an introduction of myself in a long
Laser
time.
Eagle. Stop
All right,
ruining
well,
our
I'm
mythos.
trying to be humble for the people this time. I'll be humble once. Hi everybody. Hi Launchpad Media fans and listeners. It's nice to have you listen to my voice today. I am Bird Archist at Bird Archist on Twitter. I go by Bird because I'm afraid to reveal my real identity. I'm from Queens. I'm a piece of Queens trash, and you'll hear that as we talk about the music that I like today. Other than that, we do a podcast. It's called the Friends Against Government podcast. That's right. It's the Fagcast. Check it out when you get a chance to. It's probably on most podcatchers at this point. My journey to liberty. I think my journey to liberty is the least spectacular of all time. It was 2008. George Carlin just died. And on HBO at 2 a.m, they were replaying old George Carlin specials, like Jammin' in New York, actually. And in Jammin' in New York, and you know what? I'm actually kind of happy about this because me and Scott Horton have like the same story, which is
That's
great.
fine. That's awesome.
It's basically jamming in New York. There's a part when he just goes off about the war. And man, I think that got the I don't know how old I was. I don't even know. I don't even want to think about it. Probably too young to be watching a George Carlin special. But regardless, that's what turned me. He goes off about the war, and I was like, I gotta know more about what this is that he's talking about. So from there, I was like a Penn Jillette kind of libertarian. You know, I was kind of like I just want to own libs on television. I don't really like want to get too deep into it, but I'm here, and I stayed like that for a little while until the blessing of the day. I went on Twitter, and I got a follow from an account called Anarchy Ball. Shout out to Anarchy Ball if anybody remembers him.
Nice.
He's got to get back on there. I think he was on there for like 2 weeks. He got banned again.
Jeez.
He basically invited me to a DM from which I know all the lovely people that I know now. And they were already all libertarians. And I think they kind of shuffled me over to like anarcho-libertarian. And that's like where I sit happily now. Just anarcho-libertarian. I think it was Carr, actually, who converted me, I'll say. He brought me into the church, let's just say. With Lysander Spooner. So I picked up No Treason. And it was about 2. I think most of my ideas form at 2 a.m. Because it was like 2 a.m. and I was reading No Treason by Lysander Spooner. And he talked about how the government was highway robbers. And I think that was when he calls them a band of highwaymen, I was like, this motherfucker's just correct. That was where that happened.
Was he with Willie Nelson or something when he wrote that?
Maybe.
Is it like
now that I think about it, there could be a lot of influence there when you think about it. But yeah, shout out to the Boston anarchists, just in general. Shout out to all of them.
Right on.
But that's my journey to liberty. It's very probably regular, I think.
As if I was going to question his New York City cred, that was the most New York City thing I could imagine.
Right there.
Oh, by the way, shout out to this other city and nameless group. Like, do you front a New York hardcore band? This is from my homies out of GC.
Dude, I gotta be honest with you, I'm DC hardcore till the day I die. It's the best hardcore on the planet. It is. I can't even pretend.
Like, he listens to a lot of Sick of It All and H2O. That's all I can guess.
Oh man.
Anyway, so yeah, well, that's a good question. It's kind of like a good segue. What is your musical taste?
I like, I'm one of these guys who I'll probably,
I hate to
too? Say, not like Carr. You had Carr on. I guess I don't listen to episodes with him. But if I was to, I would imagine he called himself a Deadhead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I use it in a derogatory fashion to anyone who likes it.
Yeah, dude, it is a derogatory term, and I don't agree with being a Deadhead sometimes, because to me, Deadhead is like you're 55 and you wear short shorts and boat shoes.
Well, though, I can get behind that part of it, but
I'm not.
The music, on the other hand,
no, the music is the only redeeming quality that Deadheads still have. It's all old-fashioned Americana, baby.
You're not into the patchouli?
Oh, not into the patchouli. No, I'm into the flow state, sure, but
yeah, there you
not
go.
the patchouli. I don't know. Would I call myself a Deadhead? No. Would I call myself a huge fan of the Grateful Dead? 100%.
Okay.
And I think what scares me about it is I'm a fan of the same Grateful Dead that a lot of the Deadheads are fans of. Sort of the experimental era, like Terrapin Station.
Yeah.
It's kind of like jammy electronic music. I love that shit. And I think that's what most Deadheads like too. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated because my kid's godfather is a Deadhead. So anytime I talk to anyone who listens to it, I'm just like, oh, you guys are interesting.
You know what the deal is? Do you know how, and New York hip hop is probably my greatest love, but do you know how when people listen to maybe New York hip hop, Atlanta hip hop has the same feel? It's very much sort of environmental. It really is. There's a specific sound. With New York, you get boom bap, right? That's just normal New York sound. You can hear it and you go, oh, this is a New Yorker. I think when you hear the Grateful Dead, you go, "Oh, this is an American." You know what I mean? Like, and for me, a person who, despite hating the government here, I love American culture a lot, and that's what it reminds me of. Old-fashioned, roll up a joint with your friends, go and hang out on a cliff edge somewhere, and make out with some chick that you don't know the name of. Which, you know.
Well, that's a dangerous thing now with the Me Too movement. You're liable to get pushed off, and
I mean,
and she's not going to do time.
You got to keep it in the 60s.
Isn't that so much about the feeling about the Grateful Dead? Let's keep it in the 60s.
kind of.
100%, dude. Nostalgia is marketable, man. That's why people still play Street Fighter.
I think he misplaced
Oh,
what I meant to
gosh.
say there. I thought we should have kept them in the 60s. but,
Oh,
you know.
Wah,
Oh.
wah.
Well,
Nah, in truth, I like the Dead. I just like to pick on them because the
it's-
culture that goes with it is something else, man.
oh yeah. It is. It's toxic. It's a toxic culture.
So you say you're a big New York hip hop fan. What are you classifying as New York hip hop? Because New York's got a couple different places, and I've gotten the distinct impression that they're different depending on where in New York you are.
I mean, for me, New York hip hop is I'm going to limit it to Brooklyn and Queens hip hop for me. The specific sort of boom bap is going to be my favorite, and I also really love New York freestyle.
I'm gonna ask you to do this.
Yeah.
Describe boom bap for everyone who's listening who's not me.
Describe boom bap. All right. What I want you to do, if you're on a phone or near a computer, I want you to go and I want you to Google Mobb Deep. Right? Have you ever heard of them? Google Mobb Deep and Google Shook Ones Part 2. That is the definitive boom bap sound. You'll hear that kind of a sound, sort of a dun 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 with sharp hi hats and a lot of emphasis on low bass tones. That's what you'll hear in boom bap, and I think that era of New York hip hop leads to the gangster rap that you're familiar with from New York, but it also leads to some of my favorite music, sort of like alternative hip hop.
We actually just had this past week, from time of recording, we released Sound of the Police in the Freedom 365 as one of our songs we talked about.
Dude,
from the
so
album
good.
Return of the Boom Bap.
Yeah, another sort of boom bap sound, but a much more aggressive kind than what you'd hear from Mobb Deep.
Here's a question. So why is KRS-One sound so Jamaican in the beginning of that song?
That's a thing, dude. That's a New York thing. I don't know why that is, but
Is
if
it cultural appropriation? He's not
No,
Jamaican.
dude, listen. No, but he's probably Caribbean. I mean, he's probably got Caribbean parents, and that sound carries over. I don't know. I could tell you this. I know another New York rapper who used to do sort of a Jamaican accent all the time was Phife Dawg. Like, he used to, in as many songs I could think of on A Tribe Called Quest, at one point or another, he would switch into a Jamaican accent for some reason. I don't know why.
That's an interesting thing. I've never thought of it as being a thing, but you're right. It kind of is.
It's a thing that New Yorkers do, and I think people have stopped doing that since Drake thought it was cool to still do it. But I don't know. But yeah, that used to be a thing, doing the New York sort of Jamaican-y voice. There's a big Jamaican community here.
Oh no, I know about that. I'm a big fan of Camille, and he talks about that fairly regularly.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that's fascinating. So, obviously, if you can talk about New York hip hop and the Grateful Dead, you kind of get all around. It seems almost ridiculous to try and pigeonhole you to one genre. Does that sound about accurate?
No, dude, I listen to classical music too. I'll put on like Shostakovich and shit if I'm really trying to focus. I'm an animal, dude. I'll listen to anything. I will listen to anything. You know what? It'd be easier to do what I wouldn't listen to.
Okay.
Pop country.
Pop country. Fair enough.
That's it.
What do you consider
That's
pop
it.
country?
Taylor Swift.
That's pop.
I feel like
that's not
she's just
country at
pop.
all anymore.
No, dude, early Taylor Swift.
Oh, okay,
and
fair enough.
whatever the hell the new Lady Gaga is.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. Those seem
I'm
like
out. I'm
things
out
to not
of
listen
that.
to.
That's things I'm out of. Anything else? Put it on. I'll give it a shot. The other day I was listening to like Islamic calls to prayer. Just kind of listening to them. Just kind of trying to get the sort of rhythm of them. Man, I'll listen to anything. I just like rhythm.
Wait, now were you low key listening to them to send to Robbie the Fire Bernstein? Just like low key shots fired.
Sure, yeah, sure. I'll go with that. Anything to instigate the beef. Sure.
Right on. So I'm curious. Do you get a chance to see a lot of live music?
You know what's one thing, man? I'm about 5'4" sometimes. Like on a good day, I'm about 5'5". My problem is,
No, believe me, I'm with you. So I get it.
yeah, dude. You know what I'm about to say.
I can never see any act I go see live. I'm just
It's for me. You probably get a lot of people like, yeah, I love to go see live music. I'm gonna go. I fucking hate it. I really actually hate it going to see live music. You know why?
I love it if it's not a club setting. Clubs are rough.
Even club, anything, but New York is all standing room stuff.
Oh,
it's all
okay,
Yeah.
Because it's every douchebag who owns a basement has a club nowadays. So basically, I find myself with two things. It's me, and I'm taking my lady with me, and she's shorter than I am, and I'm short, and neither of us
you're getting
can
in
see.
a fight.
It means that other douchebags will put their women in front of them and push forward. You ever see this technique at live concerts?
That's why I get in fights at concerts, because people try that shit on me and I don't take it.
What is this technique that men, I'm sure it's men, that men have invented, where they will take their woman,
You lead.
and
Come on, I'll follow.
they'll hold them by the shoulders, and they'll just kind of drill forwards. You know what I mean? Like, because nobody wants to like elbow a chick in the face, so nobody's gonna stop them.
Right.
Do you see this? These are my problems.
I think you're a better human than I am, because I'm not stopping.
I don't know,
I'm
man.
doing
Yeah,
me, man.
I had a terrible time at a fucking Jesus. What does Josh Homme call his stupid band now?
Eagles of Death Metal or Queens of the Stone Age?
Queens of the
Which one?
Stone Age. I went to go see Queens of the Stone Age. Shout out to The Alarm. I went to go see Queens of the Stone Age, and dude, Queens of the Stone Age live blows.
I'm not
It's
surprised.
terrible. And it was standing room, and who's there? Sweaty 55s. That's it.
Oh, that's rough.
I mean, Josh Hum's core demographic would be that.
Sweaty 55s. Yeah, it's really true.
You gotta remember, like, dude, the Queens of Stone Age have been a band for going on 30 years now. They
I
just
know,
didn't
it's
get
crazy.
popular
And I
until
love
later.
their music. And I think he's a fucking musical genius. But in concert...
He's also a popular kid.
Yeah, he's a douchebag. And he ruined Caius. So, ultimately, fuck him.
My beef with him has always been, like, he seems like somebody that would have picked on me in high school, and for that...
Yes. Yeah, and yet he remained popular, like, the whole time.
I'm not going to say he doesn't remind me of a guy that I was actually in a band with that carried a lot of the same personality traits, and I'm kind of like, I love your music, but I really don't want to like it.
Yeah, no, I feel that. And I feel that way about a lot of artists.
Are you an Eagles of Death Metal guy at all?
No, because I'm off the Josh Homme thing. I got it.
Well, no, who cares about I don't listen to them because of Josh. I listen to them to because for Jesse.
Oh, is there like... I thought it was Josh Homme's like sound. I thought it was just the same idea.
No, not at all. No,
Oh,
Eagles of
okay.
Death Metal is kind of like a country rock band.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I will say they're the only living rock and roll band out there. Nobody
Wow,
else does
okay.
rock and roll anymore other than them.
I'm gonna have to... All right, fine. You got me to listen. I'll listen to one song of your choice, and we'll see.
I'll link you something. Yeah, they're
Link me something.
They're fun.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool.
They're like they've gotten progressively more like produced over the years, but
Okay.
I mean, they kind of started out doing the Black Keys, White Stripes sort of thing.
Yeah. What was with that whole like 2010s let's form a supergroup thing? What was that? Eagles of Death Metal. It was you remember them Crooked Vultures?
Oh yeah.
I love their record. That's John
Dude,
Paul. That's
what was
John Paul
with that?
Jones, though. I don't know, but I'm waiting for a sequel to that fucking record.
Are they ever gonna do that again? I remember that being a very much a thing of the time.
I can only hope. Like,
Yeah, I see.
because for me, I get pissed off at all the love that Robert Plant and
Jimmy Page?
Jimmy Page get in Zeppelin, when the standout star of that band will always be John Paul Jones. Without him, I don't think they did any of the shit that they did. And he doesn't get talked about as much. Like if you look at their later careers, like what do they have? Like Robert Plant singing with Alison Krauss and fucking Jimmy Page, like maybe being on somebody else's track. And then John Paul Jones comes out of the gate with an actual relevant album with current musicians, and like it kicks ass and people like it.
Yeah.
It didn't sell on nostalgia. It sold because it was a kick-ass record. And I don't think either of the other two have that.
Yeah, you're probably right. Robert Plant was like, what was he doing? He does weird stuff.
Like I said, Alison Krauss, and like does country music with like.
Yeah, it's like weird, like sing-songy country music.
Yeah, not my thing.
No, not my thing either. I don't like. There will. You know what? We'll add that in as well. Like
pop country.
Neo folk. I don't even know what you call it, but I'm gonna call it neo folk. Neo folk music.
You mean
folk?
You're not out there trying to blow the dudes from Mumford & Sons?
Fuck that garbage. Whatever. If you listen to Mumford & Sons, I seriously question your ability to discern good music from bad music. I really do.
I don't listen to Mumford & Sons, so I guess I'm in the clear.
What is the deal with that? What is the deal? What is that emotion? You know what? Because people are just as ruthless about my opinion on the Grateful Dead.
I would rather Frightened Rabbit be popular than Mumford & Sons, personally.
What is the fucking deal with Mumford & Sons?
Well, it was easy to get together. You didn't have to pay a drummer. Like, I guarantee that was it. And unfortunately, when you do that, you're going to naturally create a homogenized sound.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And plus, like, I the one thing I'll give it is I'm all about people trying to choose instruments that people don't like on purpose. Because I do have that little bit of hipster in me that's like, let's be antagonistic about our music and make people hate it.
Yeah. I heard you being very antagonistic about Jimi Hendrix. I heard this recently. I heard this opinion. I was like, my God.
I'll throw shots there. even if for no other reason than to light up other people's opinions.
That's why it's so good. It's great.
People are fucking religious about it, and I don't think they have to be.
You know what? I'll settle with you there. That's true. That is true.
Like,
yeah, I love just fucking around. You know what group I really hate? I'm about to light up some fires. The most talentless group of the century, Pink Floyd.
Ooh.
That is gonna be my hot take. I don't have musical hot takes. I love most music. Pink Floyd. I listen to it. I drool.
How much of Pink Floyd's music are we talking?
I have listened to The Wall, obviously to Dark Side of the Moon, to Animals, to.
I can see why you say that. They have a very specific, very legato sound, and it's all kind of drony.
What was the name of the guy who he passed away early on in the history of that band?
Weird enough, I don't think he passed on. Like, he just went crazy, and then
right.
Like he couldn't be around him anymore.
Sid Barrett.
Yeah.
Sid Barrett. Yeah, Sid Barrett. I like the music they did with him.
He was way more interesting, for sure.
He was way more interesting, and then you're right. He lost his mind, and unfortunately, that kind of who had to pick up after him? Roger Waters.
Roger Waters, and
that guy is a stinking douche.
Oh, he's definitely a douche.
A douche. Gilmore's awesome, and I appreciate him. And like, listen to me. I don't hate Pink Floyd for I appreciate Pink Floyd because they bring a lot of joy to people. I just think. I don't know how you could listen to a whole album of Pink Floyd at one time. It seems very much like the same kind of shit the whole way through. And a lot of moaning, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, see, the moaning is like my favorite part of all music.
Hey, how's it going? Nicky P here. Want to support the show or just give a big middle finger to Patreon? Consider stopping over to supportsll.com. Members of the Freedom Choir get access to the private Facebook group and actual physical merch. Want access to the unedited raw interviews as they're recorded way before they're released? It's in there. Is that not enough? And you want membership to Freedom Song 365? It's in there. There's even monthly bonus swag for top tier supporters. So head on over to supportsll.com. Help Liz and I get to libertarian functions and even just cover the costs of making the show. If I'm not a good enough salesman, how about this?
Support my mom and dad and Sounds Like Liberty. Go to supportsll.com.
You heard her, folks. Join the Freedom Choir at supportsll.com.
It's like, oh, yeah. You sound like the oh god, the Moody Blues. There's like a lot of Moody Blues there, and I never was down with that stuff.
I can get that. Yeah, I don't love them out of all the prog bands that are out there, and if you want to call them prog, but yeah, no, they're kind of one note. I will give them that. If we're going prog, like for me, it's Yes, hands down.
Oh yeah, Yes is the best prog group of all time, and then Rush. But Rush and Yes are two different kinds of prog. That's for me.
Rush is prog sometimes, and then just a good rock band at other times.
But Rush's prog music is some of the most finely crafted music.
Oh, without question. I mean, 2112 is a fucking masterpiece.
Dude, Xanadu is a piece of art.
Yeah, this case is just making me wish we got to get Tom Woods on. He's got
one of these days.
He's gonna let me.
Oh, Tom is gonna bring something interesting with the prog music.
He keeps kind of he's real nice about how he.
Very nice brush off.
Yeah, exactly. Very nice brush off is the best way of putting that.
Well, you'll get him on one day, and he'll tell you about prog bands no one's ever heard of.
Right.
He's like, I don't know who would be interested in that. And
I don't know who would be interested. Tom, you talked about it on your show.
Yeah, like literally, I just want a nice, concise episode where we talk about prog with Tom.
Yeah, that's it. Just Yes. You can talk about one album from Yes.
Oh man, and I tried to work the we had Bob Murphy on angle, and I don't know that it helped. It was weird. Just for the record, Bob's episode was hilarious.
Can you answer this question for me, because I didn't know you had that. Now I got to go back and listen to it. Is Bob a Deadhead?
No, Bob is not a Deadhead. Actually, not.
Okay, all right. I was always curious. He's so calm and cool and collected.
In truth, he spent a lot of time talking about Les Mis, the Beatles,
the original cast specifically,
and one of his favorite memories was a Beastie Boys concert.
Yeah.
Wow, he has a wide type. Okay, that's cool.
I think ultimately I would consider him kind of just standard boomer music would be his thing, but
sure, yeah, but that's some good stuff.
Yeah,
I can do that.
It's stuck around for a while for the reasons it's stuck around for a while, I guess.
He went for the Beastie Boys. I wonder if because this makes me smile, the thought of Bob Murphy listening to Cypress Hill.
I don't know that it goes that deep.
That would be great.
I got the impression it was a fish out of water story there, personally.
He's like, hits from the bong. He's singing along. That would be the best.
Good old Bob. It was fun. I mean, he was super, super nice.
He was very, very.
You guys should totally get him
personal.
on. I would love listening to that.
Bob snubbed us.
Really?
Yeah, we sent he was on Twitter. He was like, yeah, I'd like to come on. Send me an email. We sent him an email. Nothing. We sent a reply. Nothing.
Really?
Come on one day. He's a busy guy.
Yeah.
I don't.
Where did you send it to? The RP?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's the effing and jeffing.
just threw him off, huh?
He just listened to one episode. He's like, well, these aren't good Christian folk.
It's possible. It is possible.
I don't know why he'd come on my show.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
it depends on the episode.
Well,
but
that being said, if he just looked at the title Fagcast versus, it sounds like Larry does say something different.
The most tragic part about our name is that one day we are going to have to change it.
Somebody's going to.
No, you're not. I swear to God.
We already know. No, dude, we've already acknowledged it.
I stopped listening the minute it changes.
We were thinking we were going to change it one day to Big Trash, so it's still a joke about the government. That's what we were thinking we were going to change it to one day. When that day comes, we'll have to reevaluate.
Big Trash.
Well,
Big Trash. Yeah, like Big Pharma.
Look, I mean, what you got to do though is that's got to be your coming out party though too. Like,
oh yeah.
So if the name changes, you guys gotta come out from behind the ats.
Oh,
yeah. I agree.
I mean, I would just be satisfied if you wrote another one of those '80s sitcom theme songs for it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. I do love. I was talking to dude over at Anarcho. Architecture the other day.
Shout out to Architecture because they made that and it's incredible.
Liz had never heard it before today, and I'm like, Liz, you got to listen to this shit. It's hilarious.
It's great, man. It's so it was such a good pivot off of the Grateful Dead. Some people were upset we changed the Grateful Dead, but I'm sure the new one's gonna grow on you. It has to. It's so charming.
It's
so charming.
And one I forced Mr. Sue's hand at like finishing his song because I told him if he didn't do it, I was gonna fucking beat him to it. I'm like I've got it in my head what I want to do. I'm just being lazy about writing lyrics for it. So if you can beat me to it, you know.
Yeah, listen, and not just to you guys, to everybody. The more free music, the better. Just bring it in. It's great. We got commercials. We got the music. I love it.
All right, Liz, where are we at?
Well, I don't think we necessarily need to talk about live music because we've already established that's a sore point. So we could talk about memories attached to music if you have any of those.
You have a soundtrack moment.
Do I have a soundtrack moment? The first time I got high, the first song I listened to is Sabracadabra from Black Sabbath.
Nice.
So good.
That's great.
The longest full song I've ever listened to is Dope Smoker by Sleep, which is an hour and something probably, and it's literally the same sound the whole way through. I don't like drone music anymore, but I used to when I was doing more drugs. What else do we have?
Back when he really hung out in the flow state.
The first Grateful Dead song I ever heard was Sugar Magnolia.
Interesting.
And my favorite, I'll give you two more.
What song did you lose your virginity to?
What song did I lose my virginity to?
This will be the guy that actually can answer that question, Liz.
Maybe.
I tell you what. The first, I can't give you virginity because there was no music playing. It was it was just silence, which is no good.
That is really not the way to do that.
The first time I ever kissed a girl, it was You Had a Bad Day.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. That was and then let me give you.
Was it a bad day? Is the question I got to ask.
It was a good. I was alright. That was a good day.
He's like blue balling it up, you know.
Let's go with my favorite hip hop song. Since hip hop is my favorite genre, my favorite hip hop song of all time is "Doomsday" by MF Doom.
Nice.
And
I don't know that anybody's pitched MF Doom on the show before yet.
Oh, MF Doom is indisputably the greatest lyricist who's ever lived.
You get into the pre-MF stuff?
No, I never went back to, what is it, KDS?
Yeah, I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, I never actually...
Him and his brother.
Yeah, I never went back to that stuff, but... and then let me give you my favorite rap lyric of all time. It's actually from Doomsday. It's going to be on Doomsday, ever since the womb till I'm back where my brother went. That's what the tomb will say. Right above my government, doom will lay. Either unmarked or engraved, hey, who's to say? I love that line. Because if you know about MF Doom, the fact that that's the first time he ever mentions his brother in a song. And it's super meaningful. And I that's my favorite lyric of all time.
That's packed with a lot of punch right there.
Yeah, it's a powerful lyric. So that's my favorite hip hop song, and the reason why is because it has my favorite lyric in it. Other such favorites are A Tribe Called Quest, Far Side,
Kick It, yes,
and what is another? Let me give you one more. Oh, and DMX is ultra underrated. I'm gonna do that.
You think DMX is ultra underrated?
I do. I think DMX is ultra underrated. You know why? People hear radio DMX. They don't go down into DMX. And so what they rate is radio DMX, who is overrated. But you couldn't get someone to tell you a song that DMX just kind of put out at the back end of an album. And he is super, 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 super underrated in that respect. He has a discography, most definitely.
Fancy.
Those are my warm takes.
Okay, right on.
He's getting warm on it. All right, so here, here's the big question, I guess. If you had 5 records that you think everyone should listen to, what would they be and why?
5 records? Oh, give me a second to think about it.
All right.
That's code for he's gonna hit the blunt.
Is that
Yeah,
what
give me
that's
a
about?
second.
Okay, right on.
Let's take a walk down this path and see where it leads.
Oh, good Lord.
You're just over there being a good little Baptist girl and hanging out with these oddballs.
I like weird people. That's like my thing. I mean, I am a weird person, to be honest. Let's face it.
All right. 5 records to recommend. Do I have to have a theme?
No, you just go for it.
All right, go for it. Everybody should listen to Midnight Marauders by A Tribe Called Quest. Everybody, that is a definitive hip hop album.
And if you haven't lost your virginity yet, that's a good way to start.
I have. I'll go with. I'm gonna go with Yes, Close to the Edge.
Nice.
Because I think Yes, that's Yes's best album for me, and Siberian Katru I think is probably their best song.
He's been hanging out with Tom Woods too much.
Oh yeah, I remember Tom dropped that on an episode one day. I was like, oh man, he did this before I could get the chance to.
Oh.
Yeah. I will give you. See, I love Prague too, man. I'm gonna go with Rush, and I'm gonna go with Rush's 2112. Everybody should listen to Rush's 2112.
Nice.
They should.
Rush's 2112 is yeah, dude. Rush's 2112 has got everything that any anarcho-libertarian would like. It's the struggle of an individual to produce something good amidst sort of a tyrannical state. I think that's something anybody who's libertarian could get down with.
What are your thoughts on Neil Peart going soft on it though?
Was he's an objectivist?
No, he's not anymore. He classifies himself as a quote unquote bleeding heart libertarian.
What are my opinions on him going soft?
Yeah,
you know what? He's older, I guess. He doesn't have the fire anymore, maybe. And you know what? I can't judge him because his best achievements are in the era where he was really on board with all of it. So I can't judge him too much. How many did I give you? 3?
Yeah, we got 3.
Oh man, I got to give you one more. I'm gonna dig deep into the YouTube playlist here.
Go for it.
I'm gonna go dig deep. Let's see. Oh yes, 100%. Let me find the app. Oh yeah, I think this is the name of it. Okay, this one's gonna come from left field. I think this is probably his best album. This is probably the best soul album ever put out, in my opinion. I'm gonna go with Voodoo by D'Angelo.
Oh snap!
It's a good record.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Voodoo by D'Angelo. That's got his best hits. Shout out to the Soulquarians. That was a really interesting period of music. And that's the best, man. That is the best shit because it is. I think that has really all of his greatest hits on it, right? It's got Untitled. It's got Spanish Joint. You like Making Love, Africa. Yeah, dude, this is the one. Check out D'Angelo's Voodoo.
Right on.
That's also another good one.
If you want to make love.
Yeah, because it's another good one if you haven't lost your virginity yet.
Yeah, or if you have lost your virginity, it still holds up.
There you go.
Couple candles, couple hot dogs.
Okay, I'm not sure where he's going with the hot dogs.
Whatever.
But to each their own, you know? I personally am not a big fan of food and sex. It's weird.
Really? Okay. No food and sex together. All right.
No. I'm very into both of them separately.
Just not together.
The combination is odd to me.
Sushi on the nipple?
No, not so much.
I'll eat ass, but you throw coleslaw on it. And, I don't know.
Oh, cheers.
It's the coleslaw that ruins it, you know?
A man who truly loves every part of his woman. Very nice. What a
How
story.
can you be more uncomfortable over there, Lizzie?
Just rolling with it. It's all right.
See, we've been listening to too much voodoo. Dude,
Well,
have you ever seen the music video for Untitled?
I'm sure I have. I was really into D'Angelo probably about a decade ago.
Yeah, it's D'Angelo butt ass naked.
Yes, okay, that is the one that I was about to say, because
Yes.
I can't think of D'Angelo without seeing that flipping
How
video.
does it feel?
Oh my god! And I'm just like, what? Wow, we are really close to. Okay, jeez,
Dude, like, there's a point when the camera zooms out and I'm like, we're about to see his shaft. And it's
so
like,
close.
and we never see it.
They're like right on the edge.
Well,
for
and that's
most
the thing.
of the
That's
video.
the thing. They had to cut it out, is what you imagine, right? There's no way they got
for
it.
sure.
There's no way they got it that close, and it didn't
Apparently,
slip into a frame.
he was wearing something. He was wearing like a pasty or something.
Really. I'm gonna live in a world where that's inaccurate. I want to live in a world where he's just there, 10 inches dangling. Just like, that's how I am,
Just
you
like,
know.
yeah. Everybody's filming it. People are like, Jesus. Oh God.
They tried a couple takes, but he kept moving. People were tripping.
That is
on
the
it.
best. That is one of the best music, and I'm serious about. I am serious about.
I mean,
this.
it's a great song for nothing.
It is one of the best music videos ever made because it is probably the first time where it was a music video just for the ladies.
Oh, good God, yeah.
I mean, it's distracting from the music itself, to be honest. But I mean,
But if you liked D'Angelo, that was what you needed. You know,
yeah,
that was what you had to see. And he, you know, who does that shit? That's ballsy. That was ballsy.
Oh, good
Quite
God.
literally.
yeah, right.
I mean, I'm assuming.
Uh,
But yeah, no, I'm like, I was wondering, like, so someone had to go in and post, because there's no way you didn't see it. Like, it's way too close. It's
know.
like
You
some
said there was
some
something.
dudes waiting until you see just those 2 pixels on each side of the shaft appear, and then like you gotta move it out of frame.
yeah. Yeah.
All right.
That is something.
We've got 4.
Oh man, you're putting them on the spot, Liz.
Oh, we've got 4. I only gave you 4. Okay. I will give to you. This is tough. This is going to be a good. I'm going to give something that maybe none of your listeners have ever listened to before.
Okay.
This one reminds me of my grandmother. I'm going to give you this one.
Okay,
Buena Vista Social Club.
you're not even the first one to talk about them.
Oh man.
Whoa, really?
Who was it that we had on that was really into Buena Vista Social Club? It's been a while.
Oh, I am so happy to hear that.
I was really into them because they were like Spin Magazine, like probably back in the early 2000s, was really, really into Buena Vista Social Club.
Dude, Buena Vista Social Club, Ibrahim Ferrer especially.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to Ibrahim Ferrer's whole catalog, but listen to the album, The Buena Vista Social Club. It is absolutely spectacular. It is one of the best, and maybe this is too sort of Americo-centric, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how it goes. It's one of the best international albums ever.
No.
And I know, again, it's like, well, what do you mean by that? I'm just saying, as far as music that's first not in English and second wasn't produced in this country, I'm including Rush and such, Canadians as well.
Bold choice.
It is one of the most fantastic pieces of music you could ever listen to. It is folky, it is ethnic, it absolutely breathes Cuban culture. It is spectacular. It's spectacular.
Are you into Cuban culture?
I'm into Cuban music because Cuban music is, you know, there was this writer, a Mexican writer in the early 1900s who wrote a book called The Cosmic Race. And it was all about sort of how it's not a good book. But it was basically this idea that was going around in Mexico that there was this cosmic race of people that it was all white people and black people and natives all came together on these islands and sort of the best traits of each one of them was brought out in people. And that was the cosmic race. I don't subscribe to the idea, but I know for a fact that there's cosmic music and Cuban music is the perfect collection of Spanish music, West African music, and Native American music all in one. It's human music.
Human music. That's a great Rick and Morty joke.
It is, though. It's music that is so absolutely universally human.
What are you listening to? Human music. Oh,
human music, man.
I like this. Yeah, see here, I thought for a minute there you were about to go off. You're talking about
dude.
the one race, and I'm like, oh God, did Molly finally get him?
No, I'm just saying there's that cosmic idea exists in some sense, and when cultures combine, they make such beautiful things. That's one of them. Afro-Cuban jazz, dude. Incredible stuff.
As a fan of the Fatcast, so has Carr just had enough of it? I haven't heard much about the whole the Molly saga recently.
Wait, what do you mean? I'm not recalling.
I just feel like I haven't heard anything going on about Molly lately. Some of my favorite moments are you trashing Stefan Molyneux.
Oh, well, I mean, he has been...
I know Carr really isn't into it.
He has been Molyneux has been something special, and I think we have been kind of planning it out, you know? We've been watching.
Okay.
You know what was crazy? He went off between December 20th and January 20th, basically. And then he just kind of stopped again.
Really?
What the fuck happened? He went off. I think something happened to him. Rest in peace, Molyneux. I mean, like, I hope you're doing well, rather.
Right.
Oh,
Long phrase.
Sorry, that's specifically for me, because I'm always fascinated by the Stefan Molyneux nonsense.
Bizarre, dude. Bizarre stuff.
Race always gets me.
Yeah,
I'm always disappointed in the number of those people that there are in certain.
Yeah, who gives?
Facebook
First of all,
communities.
who gives a fuck about your bullshit ass IQ statistics when I just told you that Afro-Cuban jazz is the best music on the planet?
Right.
Who gives a fuck about whether or not somebody can do math if they don't want to and they can pick up a guitar?
But that music, like, it makes people want to fornicate, and that's bad.
Yeah, you're right.
It's impure music.
Dude, I'm the Christian here, and it's kind of funny how Molyneux seems to be like way more into it, despite him apparently being an atheist. Like, you're cool, dude.
I've always found that to be really weird. Like, you were
really
the most
weird.
puritanical atheist I've ever met.
I know. Take it. And he's the most puritanical atheist libertarian. It's weird.
I mean, I feel like he's given up his libertarian mantle with his recent politics. Like, for me, I came into this whole thing way after he'd already turned, and everyone talks to me about how Molyneux used to be so libertarian. I'm like, I'll take your word for it. I haven't heard a single libertarian thing out of him.
Yeah, I remember him fondly. You know, I used to listen to him maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. He was awesome.
Yeah, he's been an asshole racist the entire time I've been in the movement. Sadly.
Yeah, that's fair, and it's true. Well.
Yeah, everyone's got their own heroes. I came in like kind of in the pendulette. Like, I think I was coming in touch with my atheism, and then found Penn Sunday School.
Yeah.
And then he kind of started talking about libertarianism, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And like right about that same time, I think I saw Big J. Okerson for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
And then started listening to Legion of Skanks because of that.
And then Dave Smith.
And then eventually the whole thing just snowballs, and next thing you know, you're running a fucking Mises Caucus
there you go.
chapter in Ohio.
Living the dream.
Oh, shout out to the Meacocks.
I know.
Shout out to the Meacocks. Man, that was good. I didn't think I could talk about music like that.
Honestly, you did better than some of the musicians I've had on. So,
shout out to musicians. I used to play the bass, and then one day I stopped. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Why? It's not even that hard an instrument, man.
No, it's not. I got tiny fingers. Remember, small. You know, So one day,
see what you didn't try the William Murder face where you just play it with your dick.
Just use it like a violin bow.
That's probably one of my favorite episodes of Metalocalypse. I think it's his birthday episode where he just walks out on stage, drops trowel, and like starts like rocking forward, slapping his dick on the bass.
Oh my god, yeah.
Silly.
I mean, obviously, it's fictional because there's no way anyone's dick, other than maybe D'Angelo, has enough heft to slap the strings like that. But So, right on, boss. Well, I probably have to get going to work here. So I'm actually glad you could start earlier. It gave us a little bit more time, a little bit less rushed.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
And shout out to Rush.
Right?
should have been more rush. Less
should have been
rushed,
more rush.
more rush.
We'll do part two. We'll do part two one day, and I'll come on and I'll talk more about other music. I'll talk about classical one day.
Coincidentally, I've got a special episode that me and my buddy Trey recorded. It's specifically a primer on early era prog.
Oh, nice.
Well, it started out as a primer on prog, and then I think we decided to, like, after the fact, like, there was all these other bands in, like, the modern prog sphere that we could have talked about that we didn't. Because we focused on, like, ELP and Rush and Yes and all that stuff. But then, if you really follow it, then you can start getting into Animals as Leaders and Between the Buried and Me, like, modern metal prog.
That genre seems very much like one that you need a primer for.
Well, yeah, and it's like if you were to try, ultimately, and maybe I might actually have to have a second episode with you, just because I'm trying to do like some very specific genre primer episodes. Like if you wanted to get into, hip hop, like here's where you'd start, or if you wanted to get into
I could do
ska
that,
bands, And
I don't, ska. Ooh, I do ska. I'll do anything, man. I get myself into pretty much anything.
Well,
I'll do
you definitely seem more knowledgeable on hip hop than probably most of the people I know. It'd be you and Michael Heiss, honestly.
Oh, shout out to Michael then. Shout out to Michael.
Yeah, I gotta get on him because I want him to be our 1 year for Launchpad episode here.
Oh, nice. That's good. When is that? You guys have been cranking the episodes out.
I mean, we've been doing this. I think my first episode was November of 2017, but we didn't really start probably until February or March of 2018. And then it would be June 12th is going to be our 1 year with the Launchpad Media people.
Nice.
So you're actually going to be your episode. I have it scheduled for release on June 5th.
June 5th. Nice. You guys are way ahead.
Yeah, it's feast or famine usuve
Yeah.
I'm actually in a position now where I think I'm starting to release episodes, like going to be releasing bonus episodes because I've got enough people I want to talk to.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
So
that's awesome.
But yeah, man, you guys are fucking killing it. I think it was, who was it that turned me on to you guys was Rollo.
Oh yeah, shout out to Rollo McFlugel.
I'd never heard of you guys before him, and he's like, "Oh, these are the guys you need to check out." And now I pretty much just tell everybody to go check out the Fadcast.
Oh fuck yeah! Well, check out the Fadcast. Thank you so much. That is awesome.
You guys are hands down like my favorite libertarian show because you do what I think all of us need to be doing, which is focusing on being people first and libertarians second.
Oh man, that was the goal. That was why we tried to do it. So that's good. I like hearing this.
Plus cryptids. So
cryptids, right? See, this is what I'm trying to tell everybody. Not only do we need to be more human, let's have more fun.
Have you gone and watched the is it Secret Saturdays yet?
No, what's that?
Dude, so the Secret Saturdays is a Cartoon Network show from, I think I told Carr when he was on. It's a Cartoon Network show from like maybe the 2001. Does that sound right, or is it even?
Yeah, I would say somewhere in there, early 2000s.
And it was literally like a family that went and hunted cryptids, like to find them. And I think,
awesome.
And like maybe one of the kids in the family was a cryptid. I feel like.
Oh,
does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds right. The Wolf Boy or something.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was weird, but it was literally a cryptid specific show. I loved it.
Nice. I like that a lot. Yeah, we need more of that. We need to have a lot more fun.
Strangely enough, there was no talk of the road toad in that show, and that is a travesty.
You know what, though? He's a new sort of finding in the community. We have experts on to talk about him. So he's real.
Did we actually do like a pitch for your show other than me just talking about it?
That was a great pitch. At least I felt like I was pitched.
Okay. You're not going to laugh, Liz?
Laugh about what? The pitch?
Okay. I mean, that was a great euphemism that everybody apparently is missing but me.
The pitching and catching?
Like I was pitched.
Well, I was going to say, no, he was at a pitch, or you should probably tone it down, but whatever.
Okay.
He's pitching a tent. I don't know. There's a lot of jokes that could have been made, and you're just over here like mom braining or something. I don't know.
I am mom braining impact.
Right on. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, Bird Archist. Or was it? No, it's Laser Eagle.
That's right.
Yeah, call me Laser.
With 2 Z's.
I'm gonna be tweeting the shit out of Laser Eagle until this comes out. Just for the
Yeah, I may change. You know what? When this comes out, you got to remind me to change my name to Laser Eagle for a little while.
Nice.
I'm going to bring up a mythos about Lazar Eagle, your twin brother, your black twin brother.
My twin brother, who is from a different mother, apparently.
Well, you could have had a black dad. It could be like a half brother.
It doesn't have to make sense. It's superhero mythos, right?
It's a very valid point. Superhero mythos does not have to make sense.
Fair enough.
Right on, boss. Well, thanks for coming out. It was a lot of fun.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Your blood boils, it's retreat, cling to your